A revolutionary. Say whoa. Trap revolutionary. Got the wave of too scary. Doing this thing like Malcolm ain't by any means necessary. We ain't got it by no one seen hand. We got the master plan. Get the move. What's going on, y'all? Y'all wanna do this video real quick, man. I had saw interview that Dr. Umar Johnson had did on Ifatunde. You know, Dr. Umar Ifatunde. I know he's, is I guess the name, common name is Johnson, but Ifatunde, his I guess name, uh, his proper name, Ifatunde. So he mentioned about him not doing anything like making any comments on the Nolan Wells situation, right? After it happened, because he felt like so many people, content, so many which he called struggle streamers, content creators would come on and probably make videos about it, and I don't know, just say things about it basically for their own gain,
There's so much to get into that I want to get your take on. Nolan Wells, how you feel about that situation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nolan Wells. When the case first broke, Art, I just kind of sat back because I knew the YouTubian struggle streamers were going to run with it. I knew the white liberals on YouTube were going to run with it. I knew the white racists on YouTube were going to run with it, and everybody in between.
People just making all type of accusations, just get clickbait, which I seen as well. I did see that, like some people was posting stuff, man. They're like making allegations, and I believe making like AI videos and stuff about what happened to Nolan. Like one in particular, like a guy showed that him getting body slammed or whatever, and him being basically he was pretty much like he was pretty much dead already when the dude picked him up and like just what I'm saying, body slammed him, right? So stuff like that. It was just then one person showed him and had Nolan in the water drowning. It's just out like stuff like that, man. That is that's unnecessary. That's the best way I put it. That's unnecessary. It's uncalled for people to do that for clickbait, just to try to get attention, right? Some type of monetary gain from people clicking on the videos. But I will say this though, it is some people out there like me, like we really into it. We really into the story, you know what I'm saying? Because we trying to spread the message, try to help our people. You know what I'm saying? Like really, it's no game, and I know a lot of people don't know, like my cousin, Anthony Browder, my cousin Tony, he's went to Africa. He's done tours, and actually he does, like Egypt on the Potomac, in DC. He does like a pretty much like a tour, like year round, showing people the ancient Egyptian presence in Washington D.C. and how they took, certain monuments, basically, temples in Luxor and, in Cairo, and they put they borrowed like the obelisk or the Tekken. They borrowed that and they put that over there, on the Potomac River in Washington D.C. The Lincoln Memorial, all of that. It's like that's how Ramesses sits in the temples. They took that basically copied that and pasted it here in America. You know what I'm saying? The way Lincoln sits in the memorial, sits in the church like Ramesses. So it's anyway. I want to say that because, man, like some of us are really freedom fighters. Like we not on here for just gain clickbait or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And my homeboy, probably unbeknownst to him, he kept telling me, "Hey, man, you need to start your channel. You need to start your channel. You need to start your channel." And I knew I needed to do it, but I honestly believe he was speaking to me through the ancestors. Like they were speaking to him like, "Hey, you need to get on her. You need to, because you got the passion. You have that that fire, man, in your spirit. You trying to get the message out. You want to see your people win so bad. What do something about it? You know what I'm saying? You don't spread the message however you can spread it, and show people, you know what I'm saying, and bring the knowledge, that you have, because somebody may catch you, somebody may see you, and they may listen to you more so than they listen to somebody else, or Dr. Umar, maybe my cousin Tony or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So somebody may see me, my homeboys, my, friend, homegirls, or whatever may be, right? They may not know my cousin. They may not listen to Dr. Umar, but they may listen to me because like, dang, okay, well, I didn't know you knew that, but I just want to say that because I think, man, sometimes we get caught up into, you know, feeling like, everybody is just in it to make a dollar, but nah, man, a lot of us, we really trying to help our people. We trying to bring the truth, to light, try to help our people because we've been like really, uh, we've been hurt, by the system and the things that has been done to us, and also causing us to harm ourselves. I actually just reading the book tonight, like it's like the way it has been done is basically with our people. Even in ancient Egypt, the back door was open by those that allowed Greeks in to take over Egypt. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing has been doing here. We had control of Egypt, but they had people that want to allow other people in, and pushed our people out of power. So right here in America, we're dealing with the fact that people that look like us are acting as gatekeepers, and to keep the status quo the same, will allow the brutalization and marginalization of black people as long as they get a few breadcrumbs. That's been, going on throughout, a lot of our time here. It's like, people like us being enslaved. You had people in the house, you had people that were giving up, our people fighting for our freedom to get out of slavery. You got people that foiled, certain revolts, from our people because they was looking for a little breadcrumbs, so that happened, on a large scale and a small scale level. So that, it continues to go on with our people, right here today. We have certain, so-called leaders, and for the little, I guess, resources they are given, they'll appease our people, and also in a sense when certain things happen to continue, these things, the status quo to remain in place. And those things they have to change though. That just has to change. There's no way that can stay in place. The current system, there's just no way it can stay in place. You know what I'm saying? We have to do everything we in our power to to eradicate it, because I'm not willing to continue to allow our people to be brutalized. And I'm not willing to be brutalized. And I know it's a lot of other people out there that don't want to see that either. Because when it come down to it, like I said before in the videos, your son, your daughter, your mother, your father, your brother, your cousin, just niece, nephew, on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? That can, they can be affected by this system. Basically, like I said, a black brutalization, marginalization. So, I think, well, I would say the majority of us, we not trying to, we don't accept that, and not, uh, want to just like, okay, just give me I'll turn a blind eye to it, as long as I'm okay. As long as I got a few breadcrumbs, I'm okay with it. I know the majority of us, we not like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and uh, you know, I know that that's not something that, I think we would allow. And I know if we had the power to change it, we would do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I know. And I know if we could I know, man, if we could figure it out, like I'm just being honest, if we could figure it out, we'd have been done did it. You know what I'm saying? Because I just don't know any black people that's just willing, just like, okay, cool, I'm cool, I got my house or whatever, I got my job. You brutalizing black people as long as I'm living good, I don't care. I don't know no black people that's like that, you know. And if it is, then they really have it's a psychosociological problem, you know what I'm saying, that I would say, you know, that is the problem. You know, so, you know, I'm just of the opinion, man. Some of us are we're here, you know. We are here and you know, we're here to help our people, man. You know what I'm saying? By whatever means we can, small or large, you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say, you know, it's a struggle streamers, you know, people that just, you know, like as Dr. Umar said, struggle streamers just getting on here just to try to get some attention. Some of us, like, we really, man, want to help our people, you know. And it's hard for some people to understand that, but we are, you know, and like I would say, it don't matter, you know, I'm just talking to y'all out there that may have channels, you know, it don't matter how large or small, or if you don't have a channel, it don't matter how large or small your contribution is, but do something, man. We got to do something to change this system, you know, because what I would say again, what happened to Nolan Wells? Well, we start with Emmett Till. We even start before Emmett Till. What happened to our people, you know what I'm saying, in this country should have never happened. You know, and I would go on and say, and I'm gonna make another video, greed and racism is what caused slavery. You know, you have you know, our brothers, you know, our you know, Hebrew Israelite brothers, you know what I'm saying? They say it's Deuteronomy 28 that caused it, but it's greed and racism that caused slavery to happen. From then to now, shouldn't have never happened, man. You know, our people being hung, our people being killed, you know, by the police, you know, brutalized, and they continue to be marginalized in this society. It's no way, man, that I'm willing to accept it or to just allow it to go on without doing nothing about it, not saying nothing about it. You know, so that's why I'm on here, and I know that's why other brothers and sisters on here. You know, not to say we out. You know, because like I said, it's some people they being unscrupulous, just get on here, just, you know, they don't care. You know, they want a monetary reward just to get some clicks and some likes. You know what I'm saying? But some of us like are passionate and trying to do something for our people. You know, and like I would say, you know, I said before, some of us are light bearers. Our ancestors like had to make, they like, hey, you know, like me, I had to sit down for a while, you know what I'm saying? And understand, you know, my power and what, you know, I'm here for. You know, it's to help our people. And that's by any means. I mean that by any means, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no game with me. I don't care about no little breadcrumbs. Can nobody stir me away from it? You know what I'm saying? It's my purpose, and that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fulfill that, you know, however I got to do it, large or small, you know. But I know one thing, you know, uh, it don't matter how you start. As long as you start, it don't matter how big your platform is. It don't matter. As long as you saying something about it, you know, that's what count. You know, so, you know, I would say that to Dr. Umar, man. You know what I'm saying? Yo, some of us like we for real about it, you know, and you know, and that's all I'm gonna say. I don't, cause I'm really upset. No, not at him, but I'm just talking about our situation, you know. And like I said, from Emmett Till, man, from well before Emmett Till, slavery, Emmett Till, you know, on to now, you know, Nolan Wells. I was just, uh, man, just saw a video about it, very disturbed me, man. About the brother, you know, they killed in Louisiana. They shot him at the grocery store, you know. Um, and then another brother, he went off about it, you know, and he ended up ambushing police and um um yeah, he went off about it, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and it's been a problem, um, you know, like this. Emmett Till, you know, Nolan Wells, you know, like I said, the young baby, Cohen White, you know, Wiley getting killed, you know what I'm saying? Um, it's a problem, you know. The Martravion Reed, the Norris Richardson, um, you know, who you say gone? I mean George Floyd, uh, Sandra Bland, you know, uh, it's so many others, man. You know, like I said, I even said about Trayvon Martin, man. It just continues to happen, and it's unacceptable. Um, you know, so yeah, it's like out to Sterling. You know what I'm saying? Saw that, man. Just disturbing, man. You know what I'm saying? For our people to continue to be brutalized like that by the police and anybody else. You know, you know, Cyrus Carmack Belton, you know, shot like over some water. You know, over so-called, you know, stealing water. You know, that's unacceptable, unbelievable. You know, this man would sit here and kill him. You know, you know, about saying he chased the man down, you know, about some water, man. You know, and that's just like that's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's unacceptable, man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this Rick Child ended up killing him, you know. So I think Galvin Long ended up going off about, you know, ambushing police, you know, up there in Louisiana, you know, um, because he was distraught about that. What happened? Yeah, Galvin Long. Yeah, you know, he in Baton Rouge, yeah, he ambushed police officers. You know what I'm saying about that? You know, and there's another brother down here in Dallas. You know, he went out. You know, I believe I can't remember. I was 2020. Um, you know, I just couldn't accept it no more, and he ended up killing police here in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? So, um, but these things continue to happen, man, and we're like frustrated, beyond frustrated, you know, and we trying to do something about it, you know, and this is one of the ways, you know. So I would say that, you know what I'm saying, don't, you know, and it's something that, you know, Dr. Umar, you know, don't if you see brothers and sisters, you know, on her really trying to do something, don't matter how big or small the platform is, you know, applaud that, you know, because some of us really trying to do something, really trying to help, you know, bring the light, man, and the truth to our people, you know, because like I said, some of my people might not know you, might not know my cousin, might not know, you know, other people, you know, but they'll listen to somebody like me because they are familiar with me, you know. So yeah, man, I just had to get on here and say that, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna get up out here. Just want to make this video. You know, I hope y'all out there doing well. You know, living life full of love and happiness. You know, doing great. Strive for greatness every day. You know, I said we can agree, we can disagree, we can hash it out. But I'm always be respectful toward y'all. Just ask y'all to be respectful towards me. Anyway, to the next y'all. All right, y'all. Love y'all. All right, y'all.